Hello everyone. It is January 25th, 2022. It's Tuesday. It's Harp Tuesday. Welcome to this week's episode. So today is going to be the third episode on practicing and preparing a piece of music called Jardin Mouillé, the Garden in the Rain, or the Damp Garden, by Jacques de Presle. And I've been working on this for almost a year now, I guess. I did an episode sort of looking at what I do for this piece, at least when I first started looking at it. And then I did an episode several months later looking at sort of deliberate practice and diving into a couple spots and really working on them in depth. And so for this last episode, because I'm getting ready to perform this, I'm going to be doing a live stream concert coming up this coming Sunday, January 30th. So as I get ready to perform it, I'm really trying to polish it. And one of the most useful things, especially if you're not working with a teacher or a coach, is to record yourself, to be able to listen back. Because no matter how we train our ear, I think it's never quite the same thing when we're playing. We don't always hear everything that we might hear when we record it and listen back. And it's just such a useful thing to do. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you, I guess, by playing back for you a practice session of one section, talking about what I want to achieve with that, what I want to change, or what I want to work on, and then coming back, working on that, and recording it and listening back and seeing if I've managed to achieve what I'm trying to achieve. All right, so I'm over here at my computer, and I'm going to listen with you to a recording that I did a couple of weeks ago as I was practicing. And again, it's just so helpful sometimes to record yourself like this and to listen back. So I'm going to be focusing on a particular spot on this page, so I'm going to be focusing on this sort of area here, but for now, let me play you the entire page, or up until that spot. That's right, sorry, we're missing a little bit of the first arpeggio. Okay, let's play it again, and this time maybe close your eyes so you don't have this visual stimulus to just listen to this for a second. Great, and so as I say, I want to hone in on really this bar here and this transition to the next bar. There's two things that as I listen to this, I wanted to address. So I'm going to try and find... Beautiful. So I think, in fact, even this, the start of this triplet here. So there's some interesting things going on here. The first thing I want to listen for and try and address is the rhythm in this bar. Let me get rid of a few of those. So we have this triplet here, and I think that's fairly clear. We can listen to that. Right, boom, 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 boom. That is clear. But then when we start these, what's kind of tricky is the fact that we get this chord here with this G, and then we get a G natural pedal change on the offbeat, on the and of 2. And it's the same chord shape down an octave, but now with a G natural. So instead of boom, boom, and then a change, boom, boom, we get boom, change, boom, and that same chord up an octave, what is the downbeat here, and then a different chord here. So it's really easy to hear this as 1 and 2. Let me play this again for you. Right? Boom, 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 boom. That is... Oops. That's not what I wanted. I want to have this. Here we are. As I say, it's kind of the way it's written. It's a little bit hard to avoid, but we would like to avoid that. So I'm going to listen to that again. And what I hear is that I can do even more to bring this volume level down on the and. So there's some technical challenges here with that pedal change, and it's jumping around a bit, but also to really emphasize. So the first step, of course, is for the player, for myself to feel that this is being 1 and 2 and 3 and triplet, but then to make sure that it's also being heard by the listener, right? So again, very important. You don't want it, on the one hand, you don't want it to sound good for the listener, but for you to feel uncertain, right? I would prefer to first feel certain with the rhythm, but then to make sure that certainty is carrying over to the listener. And so listening back to this, even though I think I'm trying to emphasize these notes, they are fairly loud. I really want to do more prom, 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 louder potentially, or keep these the same as they are, and then softer on these two chords. So really try to exaggerate, really back off on those. And again, that's where recording, because sometimes you might think, oh, I am getting softer, I am getting softer, or I am getting louder, and then you listen, you think, oh, yes, but it was just a little bit, it needs to be more, right? It needs to be more. And so you can write little shorthand notes to yourself. Now, in this case, this music is memorized, but I'll try to remember this, but I could also write some of these notes to myself on the music so I could have it up as I'm practicing this section. A little shorthand, so I will often do this, an up arrow if I want a note or a chord to be louder, or a little down arrow if I want to bring it down. Of course, maybe an arrow forward if I want to get faster, or an arrow back if I want to slow down. There are, of course, the classic sort of wiggly line to say take some time, breathe. A little shorthands, they don't need to make sense to anybody except for you, but really helpful to go through and do that. So here, if I were to write these in, I would say I want to do less on these. So let's listen to this again. I'm not entirely happy with this transition across the bar line. Maybe a little less space. It's not bad. It's not bad. Maybe a little lighter. So even though these notes have accents on them, these two right here, to maybe back off a little bit. Again, it's a magical little moment, right? Because this is the middle of the piece. Everything's really loud and exciting for a while. And now suddenly, when we hit this subito piano, so suddenly pianissimo, suddenly very soft, and très léger, léger, which means quite light. It's kind of, and out of nowhere comes this beautiful. Here's this little tune, team dom boom, that comes from the beginning and theme, this main sort of theme. But so yeah, a beautiful little moment. But I'm thinking maybe a little bit less of a break, maybe a little bit lighter on these, or smoother, perhaps, and maybe a little bit slower here. Let's listen to that again. To be honest, it's not bad. It's not bad, but it's something I want to play around with, that transition, to really refine exactly how I want that to sound. So I did, yesterday, I played around with that and played around with that. Let's take a listen. So you can hear these are getting softer, but they're still not there. I can still do even more, I think, to back off on those chords. And that transition, let's listen to that again. I think we can scooch forward a little bit. So this time, for sure, this is too fast, right? So this is too fast. And again, maybe to just take a little bit more time here. Let's listen to it one more time. Softer, softer. Bum, 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 bum. So maybe not stretching this one quite so much here, right? So maybe this one to a little bit less time between these last two chords. Oh, sorry. Yeah, just a little bit more hint of this, what's coming up next. So again, it's okay, but in some ways I kind of like the transition that first time a little bit better. It's a little bit maybe smoother. So anyway, today I played around with it even more, and I've gotten to the point where I think I'm much happier now with these beats. So we'll listen to that, and I'm still playing around with this transition. Oh, sorry, I guess we're back here somewhere. Okay, let's so I think we can maybe start around here. That was actually not bad. I'd listened to it before and I haven't been totally happy, but this boom boom boom, that amount of pause here was pretty good. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty good. Let's listen to it again. Not bad. And again, what I've found as I've practiced this is it's the mechanics are trickier than that adds to the complexity, I guess. So that even if I maybe have an idea of how I want it to sound, it's actually looks not so bad, but it's tricky. And that big jump up on this at the bar line here is a little bit tricky. But that again, I think if you listen, especially with the music in front of you, what's happening in this bar, this 1 and 2 and 3 and triplet 1, is much clearer. Let's listen to it one more time. And in fact, this could have come just a split second later, right? This I think this downbeat. And again, to get it really clean, it's a little bit hard, but anyway, just maybe a split second later. But I'm happy with the progress on that. It's still definitely not where I want it yet, but it's better than the initial state. And I'm going to continue working on this. I'm performing this, of course, on Sunday. So you'll have to tune into the concert if you want to see where I arrive then in the next 4 or 5 days. But just an example, I think, of how useful it can be to record yourself and listen back, try to write in some specific notes, play around with that. And again, sometimes maybe it's really easy to make that adjustment. And sometimes, in this case, there was that sort of interim where I was trying to bring these two chords, their volume level down. And I was getting there, but not quite. I recorded myself again. And then now I'm at the point where I think I'm pretty happy with that. So again, just such a useful way to go about really polishing and refining a piece. So I hope that's been interesting, hope that's been useful, and I will see you in 2 weeks for another episode of Harp Tuesday.